This meeting to order. Please rise and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing as Rodney Burris leads us in prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which is
God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
justice for all.
Thank you, Father, for being with us today. We thank you that we live in a great town with great people. We ask you to continue to help us make great decisions and broaden our tent stakes, as it were. We love you, praise your name. Amen.
Amen. Roll call, please, Maura.
Ms. Stevens? Here. Mr. Clark?
Here.
Mr. Reed? Ms. Boat? Here. Mr. Brock? Mr. Burns?
Here.
Mr. Kuhn?
Here.
We have a forum.
Did you hear Michael?
I did hear him.
Participation, in-person participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. Those wishing to speak are required to sign in prior to commencement of the meeting and must address the council from the seat and table provided. The public comments must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. Terry gave me the sheet. There was no one signed in this evening. Remote participation. This is an opportunity for the public to provide public comment to the presiding officer. The public comment must comply with ordinance 2014-02 and be limited to 5 minutes or less. At this time, members of the public are able to attend public meetings by web conference and to submit public comment by email, voicemail, or through web conference. Is there anyone on there tonight, Terry? Thank you. Consent agenda. Approval of documents and action items is listed. Claims report. Claims dated October 12, 2022 through October 24, 2022. Meeting minutes. City Council meeting minutes, October 11, 2022. Council closed session meeting minutes, October 11, 2022. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments or questions? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Beals?
Yes.
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Boat?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Mr. Kuhn?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. There's no mayor's report this evening, so we'll move on to new business. Ordinance 2022-39, an ordinance annexing certain property to the city of Monticello, Illinois, Piatt County, Illinois, Dancing Acres subdivision. Jim?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. This is a new subdivision being proposed within the city here, or soon to be within the city. It needs to be annexed first. These next two agenda items are really tied into one another. So there was a little bit of discussion at the PZB how this would work. So they're really tied together. So the questions may be the same, but Mr. Lampert's here, his engineer Connor here from Vingstra and Kim, and Mr. Gleason's here to answer any questions that you might have regarding the subdivision. But I'll go over kind of the nuts and bolts from the city's perspective. Mr. Lampert of Monticello and Shayla E. Fife, the PLS from Vingstra and Kim, has submitted a plat of survey for the annexation of the property located, and I'm going to kind of give you the general location. It's off Old Route 47, north of Opal Drive, kind of behind the Monticello Township. And there's a farm ground back in there that is the property we speak of, and it's bound on the northwest side by 1700 North, if that helps you know where it's at. The legal description is only good for those that like to read legal descriptions. Per state statute, certified mailings went out to the board members of the Allerton Public Library and the Mid-Piatt Fire Protection District, the taxing bodies. The Planning and Zoning Board had a hearing, and they took action on October 17th at the regular scheduled meeting to recommend rezoning upon annexation of this property. And then the actual annexation is city council. The reason we have to do the rezoning is per our zoning ordinances, everything comes in at RD, and RD is really not appropriate for this type of subdivision. RE1 is more appropriate and consistent with the surrounding properties. The supporting documents that you have in front of you is an aerial view of the property where the project is proposed, a copy of the public notice that was published in the September 28, 2022 edition of the Piatt County Journal Republican and the PZB recommendation. So pursuant to Municipal Code 65 ILCS 5/7-1-8, the city council must take action to annex the property as described above. It's recommended the city council discuss and approve annexation of Dancing Acres as submitted at this meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions of Jim? Is there a motion to approve ordinance 2022-39 and ordinance annexing certain property to the city of Monticello, Illinois, Piatt County, Illinois, Dancing Acre subdivision?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions now or comments? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Ms. Stevens? Yes. Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Boat?
Yes.
Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. Moving on to resolution 2022-40, resolution for approval of the preliminary plan Dancing Acre subdivision. Jim?
A recently annexed property at Dancing Acres is now required to have the preliminary plan approved as part of the subdivision process. Within the preliminary plan, there was a request for some waivers that I'll mention here in a minute. It also called for a public hearing that was held at the PZB meeting. We had the PZB meeting. Now that that has been done, the preliminary plan needs to be approved by resolution by the city council. So I'll read, it's the same property we talked about, but Mr. Lampert is requesting waivers for the curb and gutter type B6.18 to an M6.18 style to allow sidewalks to be built for home construction and to not complete full width improvements of County Road East 1700 North, and to remove the requirement for street lighting, as the the lighting will be a part of their covenants in their subdivision. Developer must be in compliance with all of the requirements outlined in the manual of practice for the design of public improvements in the city of Monticello. The required public notice was published in the September 28, 2022 edition of the Piatt County Journal Republican. The Planning and Zoning Board met at the regular scheduled meeting. They had a hearing. There were a few comments brought forward. Comments were generally in favor of the project. However, there was a discussion for future improvements of Old Route 47, specifically from Alan Sprinkle, and I told him I would bring him up here. His concern was the additional 60 lots that is going to be created out here at Dancing Acres would create additional traffic. And he thought it would be appropriate to have a stop and go light at Bridge Street. And I explained to Alan that that's actually the IDOT right of way, and the IDOT studies that, but I would bring it to IDOT's attention. And when I reached out to IDOT, letting them know we were going to annex this, they didn't have any concerns at that time. Alan understood that. He said, yeah, I just want to make sure that, we're thinking about in the future. So perhaps in the future, after IDOT studies the road again while this is being constructed, there may be some IDOT opportunity to put in a stop and go light. At this time, it's not a non-issue. It's a non-issue for this at this point, but it should be noted. Another resident spoke in favor of it, and no other comments were received regarding the Dancing Acres subdivision proposal at this time. So the Planning and Zoning Board approved the motion. Enclosed is the PZB motion, the preliminary plan, and a resolution for consideration of the above mentioned preliminary plan. So it's recommended the city council discuss and approve this preliminary plan for Dancing Acres as submitted today at the council meeting.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Are there any other subdivisions, Jim, that have had those waivers?
Yes.
Yes.
It's consistent with like Walden Pond has a mountable curb. It's just make it in a mountable curb instead of a regular. Just build it that way so you can drive through it. Terry might know a little bit more than me about how many subdivisions have and which ones. I know the recent one that we did there at Heritage has mountable curb. It's just more desirable for people pulling in their driveway, frankly.
Yeah, the mountable curb's allowed, just you have to ask for it.
Yeah.
Instead of a barrier curb. And the sidewalks during home construction is fairly normal request. And then the street lights, they just use the yard lights.
Yeah,
And I know, just to mention too, that during developments, oftentimes, the reason it's favorable to put the sidewalks in during the home construction is they don't get cracked during home construction. Look at it either way. If they crack it, they're responsible for it, but this is a typical way to do it too. But like Terry said, you just have to ask for it. So the 4 waivers really weren't, the things will be done. They just will be done kind of a timing wise.
We have plumbing out there, we have sewer, water out.
We will, as part of once we get into the nuts and bolts of this, we have the new water tower services there, and we have sewer real close by there. On Old Route 4.
Yet to be installed though. I mean, not,
Nothing's in the subdivision.
nothing in the ground.
All in.
Yet.
Yeah.
Those utilities will be on the development.
Is there a covenant that goes with each lot that says you will construct a sidewalk for the width of your lot when you construct your house?
Yes, and it'll be part of your building permit.
So before it's done, there will be a sidewalk.
You won't get a flop without having your sidewalk there. Right.
Ultimately, who's responsible for the improvements of Old Route 47? Is that township? Is that city?
Old Route 47 going in that direction is city responsibility.
Yeah, that belongs to us.
Okay. Just, our list of streets that
Yes, I do.
keeps getting longer and longer.
Yeah.
60 more houses out there. I imagine we'll hear pretty quickly that they need it.
The good news is, it's a concrete street. It's a concrete road that used to be a state highway. So it's built, but it's old and needs some attention. And it's certainly something we've been talking about for a long time.
Anyone else?
I would like to address like the street lights. I know that is something that's always a conversation, but I think I would like to see street lights. I think street lights, at least on the corners of the intersections and so forth. I think when you don't have them, even though you have the yard light, it doesn't put out enough light to see cars parked on the sidewalk or on the streets. I think it's hard to see kids if they're out running around, especially new subdivisions. They like trick-or-treaters and so forth. I think it just can create a problem that I think can be resolved.
I agree, at least at the intersections. Just when people are out walking, the intersections, there aren't the pole lights nearby, or if the lot hasn't been developed yet, then there isn't a light at all. And
especially when you're away from town where there is no other lighting. I think it just makes it's just extremely dark.
that was the impetus of my initial question, was because I had a house like that over in Turtle Creek as a younger person, and I remember that light burned out, and I never really figured out how to replace it, and then the wiring got messed up, so I got rid of that house. But yeah.
Can I ask a question? How many of the recent subdivisions have streetlights? Because it doesn't seem like any of them have. I know we don't, and Jimmy's don't have. I don't think Ridge Point doesn't.
And they're really hard to see.
I don't think Crestview does.
See, probably most of the new ones do not.
But the new ones do not.
I don't think anything since 2000 is streetlights.
Probably a big expense.
I don't know that.
After they get installed, they're actually a cost to the city. We're on the hook for street lighting.
Well, and I hear what you're saying, especially about the walking and stuff, but it being a country subdivision, the light pollution from even a handful of streetlights might deter people from, especially purchasing the lots that are like closer, because you want to be able to see, I don't know, just thought. Anyway.
Was it for the small subdivision on going up North State Street? Didn't we ask for one on the intersection Police out on the
Going
street.
in,
Going in on the street.
Yeah, we asked for one at the intersection of State Street and Hill Lane.
What about Walden Ponds? They have the boulevard, and they have, I guess, I mean, they're essentially street, they're like those lamps. And I'm talking about those kind of old timey,
just going, in,
yeah, that
like we have the,
go down the boulevard.
yeah, okay, I know what you're talking about.
I mean, is that considered a street light?
Anyone else? Thank you for your comments, appreciate that. Anyone else? Is there a motion to approve resolution 2022-40, resolution for approval of the, Mike, are you wanting to say
I didn't get
something?
myself unmuted quickly enough, but
Oh, okay, that's not a problem.
one, I just want to publicly say, I think this was a need that the city has. There's a lot of people that want to move to Monticello, and there hasn't been as many homes for sale or to build or whatever. And so I think this is a need, particularly at that end of town where, I think the long range plans is to try to develop that exchange. So, but my question would be, as we look at 47, do we start to think about where bike paths can be to hook into the bike path from some of those safely, put crosswalks and things like that? It doesn't affect this subdivision. I'm trying to envision where the entrance to this is relative to other things. But I just want to encourage, as we move maybe a master plan for that area of town with more bike paths and walking paths and things like that. Because I know a lot of people walk on Old 47 because there isn't a lot of traffic currently. That may change with adding this subdivision. So anyway, those are my comments.
Thank you. Anyone else? Is there a motion to approve resolution 2022-40, resolution for approval of the preliminary plan for Dancing Acre subdivision?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments, questions? Hearing or seeing none, roll call, please.
Excuse me, Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Boat? Mr. Brock?
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. Moving along to 2022-41, a resolution to accept an agreement to perform the annual city audit of Monticello audit. Mr. Summers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The city is required to annually appoint an auditor to conduct a thorough examination of the financial accounts of the city. The city has utilized the services of May, Cocaine, and King, PC of Decatur, and they've got an office out there in the Wilkin Commercial Park. For a number of years, city administration had recently requested the firm provide an agreement for these services for the year ending December 31, 2022. So they've given us a proposal of $20,000, which is in line with what they have previously proposed. And this will be included, if approved tonight, this will be improved or proposed in the 2023 fiscal budget. So it's recommended the city council discuss and approve resolution 2022-41 as presented.
Any questions, comments? Is there a motion to approve resolution 22-41, a resolution to accept an agreement to perform the annual city of Monticello audit? Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments again or questions? Hearing or seeing none, may I have a roll call, please, Maura.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Reed?
Yes.
Ms. Boat?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Burris?
Yes.
Mr. Coon?
Yes.
That passes.
Thank you. Resolution 2022-42, a resolution authorizing the execution of the IMLRMA minimum maximum contribution agreement. Mr. Summer.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This resolution renews the city's liability and workers' compensation coverage for the calendar year 2022, $192,243 premium reflects a 2% increase and takes advantage of the min-max program and a 1% early pay discount. We've used this for a number of years now. Maura did a good job with this and the auditor's proposal that just voted on. So it is recommended the city council discuss and approve resolution 2022-42 as submitted.
Any comments or questions? Is there a motion to approve resolution 2022-42, a resolution authorizing the execution of the IMLRMA minimum maximum contribution agreement?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Ms. Muse,
Yes.
Ms. Stevens, Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Ms. Hook,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Ferris,
Yes.
Mr. Coon.
Yes.
That passes.
Okay, come up here.
The dates are wrong.
I know, that's what I can't make this move. Anyway, resolution 2022-43, a resolution to designate city holidays and city council meeting dates for fiscal year 2023. Before I present this, could you make the following addendum on them? The dates two dates on the city council meetings are incorrect. One would be October the 9th. That's a holiday. Which holiday would it be? Columbus Day. Don't teach school anymore, so I don't know about those things. October the 9th is Columbus Day, so our meeting will be on Tuesday the 10th. And the other is December the 26th. That's Christmas is on whatever, but anyway, it'll be on the Tuesday the 27th instead of the 26th. So we'll put those in that spot, okay? So everyone understands that? Did I already read this? I'll read it again. Resolution 2022-43. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Comments or questions?
We're not adding any more dates from last year, are we?
I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet.
We added like 3 or 4, or 2 or 3 last year.
There were no additional holidays.
By law.
I don't need any more, right?
By law, Rodney. By law.
By law.
Law. We didn't make them up. We have a motion already. Who motioned? You? And you? Somebody over here? Roll call, please. I'm just babbling because I'm
Ms.
like
Muse?
out of it.
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
Mr. Clark,
Yes.
Mr. Reed, Ms. Hook,
Yes.
Mr. Brock,
Yes.
Mr. Ferris,
Yes.
Mr. Coon.
Yes.
That passes.
I think I'm having a gout attack, and every time I start thinking, my toe gives me a good jolt. I'm not quite with it right now, so I apologize for any goofiness around this evening. I'll try to keep it to a minimum. Alderperson's reports. We'll start with Ashley.
Nothing this evening, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Tammy,
Nothing tonight.
you?
No, not tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing. Mike,
Nothing tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Rodney.
Oh, I can't let that go by. I wanted to tell Jill she did a great job and the rest of the team on the
Oh, the Samoa meeting, yeah.
meeting last week. No.
Oh, you just read Mary's report.
I'm sorry. But they did a great job. It was a really nice evening, and I don't normally like those things, so that was really kind of cool.
And you did a fine job.
Question, thank you.
Wendell?
Nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Mary?
I will reiterate Rodney's statement. I felt very proud to represent Monticello the other evening, and it was kind of fun, people learning that Leah, who runs Blue Dragonfly Catering, who catered the event, is my sister.
I knew that.
Yes,
I tried to get some dirt from her and couldn't, so,
that's because I'm squeaky clean.
yeah, right. Okay. Police chief's report.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have something tonight. We're doing a drug take back on Saturday, October 29th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you got any medications at home that are outdated, bring them by. We'll take them from you.
Okay,
Dispose of them.
thank you very much. City administrators report.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple of things real quick. Yesterday during the power outage, I would like to commend the Public Works Director, Brett Baker, and several of the Public Works employees. They were out all afternoon checking on a $14 million wastewater treatment plant, a water plant, and numerous lift stations around town. So I called Brett. I don't know how long we'd been into the power outage, but he had already been in contact with Ameren and was on site with all these lift stations. So it's his work and the Public Works personnel greatly appreciated in times like that. So
Good.
a quick reminder, Alderwoman Stevens, Alderman Clark, be seeing you 3 p.m. Wednesday.
Got it.
Alderwoman Vogt, Alderman Burris, come visit us 5 Wednesday. Alderman Kuhn, Alderman Reed, November 2nd, 11:30. Okay, for the budget stuff. So that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Anything else for the good of the cause? Hearing or seeing none, I would like to ask, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.